What's up, everybody? This is Sean Ferrer with another edition of the Culturally Woke Republican. It is Friday, May 14th, 2021. And I have some great news. Apparently, the CDC finally came to their brains and finally admits that you can take off your mask if you've been fully vaccinated. Now, this is an interesting little sidestep, little flip, and I'm going to explain in a minute of why. But this is all politics. We've known this for months. Okay? Matter of fact, people like Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, Michael Knowles, Kirk, there's so many of us, myself, have been reporting on this for months. If you're fully vaccinated, you can take your mask off. Okay? It's the way it works. Me personally, I have not been vaccinated. But I'm also going to explain a few things about that as well. The reason why the Biden administration has already influenced the CDC to say this is for a few political reasons. Okay, one, the Biden administration recently has had literally the worst week in politics since the inauguration. Okay, all right, first of all, inflation is hit. Okay, I thought, as well as Ben Shapiro and a few others, we've all thought, this would probably take about a year. But it's happening a lot faster. There's gas shortages on the southeast coast. People are literally hoarding gas because the price of gas is rising so fast that nobody knows what to do. So therefore, there are people out there like doing some stupid stuff. They're putting gas in plastic bags. Complete stupidity. But, I don't really know what to say about stupidity because I can't stand stupidity. So, the other thing is, the Biden administration right now is actually paying people all the way until September to basically stay home. If you're on unemployment benefits, you will get your normal unemployment benefits plus $300 extra a week. Okay, so if these people were making, say, $600 a week, that's take home, right? And then you add another $300 on top of that, so now they're bringing home $900 a week. Why would they want to go back to work? This is the reason why inflation is rising so fast, because nobody wants to go back to work. Okay, the problem with that is that if you don't have the workers to escalate the economy, this is what happens. Now, not to say that it's also a foregone conclusion, the idea that if you continuously pump what I consider fake money into the American economy, this creates inflation. This creates the American dollar just basically drops. Okay, I foresee housing market basically collapsing again. Me and my girlfriend right now, we're talking about buying a house. And I'm looking at her going, you know what? Let's wait a year. Because I'm letting you know right now, the $200,000 house is going to be worth like 80 grand in a year. And that's what I'm going to buy. I hate to say that. I hate to say that I'm taking advantage of what's going on, but a smart person in economics would. Okay. The other thing that the left is actually reporting on now, and what I think is really funny is because, like I said, the data has shown that all of this is true for months, but the Biden administration has repetitively basically, said, no, you have to stay masked, you have to stay socially distanced, even if you're vaccinated. Okay, you have video of Kamala Harris, the Vice President of the United States, still trying to figure that one out, and her husband kissing on the tarmac with masks on. And this is supposed to promote vaccination? Why would anybody want to get vaccinated if they didn't think that their lives were going to go back to normal? Why? For what? What's the difference? If you're a predominantly healthy person, you might make it through the thing. You never know. And with so many people being vaccinated, me personally, I'm not going to be their guinea pig. I always like to tell my friends, they tell me, oh, well, I did the research before I got vaccinated. You are the research. I've said this before on the show. You are the research. This vaccine is very, very potent, very strong. It does the job from what statistics are showing. But at the same time, you guys are the guinea pigs. They didn't have time to do this. The Trump administration pushed this so fast that, they did human trials, but they didn't do human trials like on, say, 1 million. A couple grand, couple thousand, maybe. But at the same time, it's like, come on, guys. But that's my choice. I'm a 41-year-old male. I'm not overweight. I have lupus, which is an autoimmune deficiency disease. But at the same time, it's like, I've been in the same house with 2 people that had COVID, and I never got it. How does that happen? I wonder. Now, I have a lot to cover on this show because I actually haven't, been on the air for a while. I've been taking a break, only for the simple fact that, I had a lot of things going on in my life. I work 2 jobs. I take care of a kid. I take care of a household. I have a lot of stuff to do. So, that being said, I had to take a break from politics for just a minute. And I basically added all of my information into one podcast. Now, my second point on this podcast is Ron DeSantis, a little local news for me, basically the greatest governor in the country, signs a anti-riot bill, which the left basically lost their minds about. Basically what it says, and I'm really not going to go into like complete criteria of the bill, but I did see a list of all the things that it basically states. And basically, Florida's not playing around. If you are with Black Lives Matter or you're with Antifa, if you block roads, if you're caught rioting, you're going to be a felon for the rest of your life. You're going to serve jail time. You are not going to come and burn down our cities in the state of Florida under Ron DeSantis' watch. That's not going to happen. And I am all for this. I have no problem with people peacefully protesting. That's your God-given right. That's also in the, that's in the Bill of Rights. You know what I mean? This is what you're allowed to do in the United States of America. But at the same time, if you're going to come into my city and you're going to burn the businesses that I work at, you're going to burn the businesses that I shop at, the people that I live around for the last 20 years of my life, I believe you should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. And you know what? Back the blue. I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. I have a checkered background just like everybody else on the planet. But you know what? I learned. And I turned around in life. And that's the reason why I'm able to do the things that I do right now. But at the same time, I'm not going to stand for something like that. It's just not my character. Now, going back to, the COVID thing, the CDC finally coming around, they literally, whiplashed themselves in, a matter of, literally it was announced yesterday. That's how fast this happened. And the reason why is because all of these so-called experts, Dr. Fauci included, this man has flip-flopped so many times over the last year, it's unbelievable. I'm still trying to figure out how he still has a job. But the reason why is because they're all in the left's pocket. And I don't mean only monetarily. The left has always wanted to basically interject themselves into every piece of culture in the country. That's what they've done. They've indoctrinated many college campuses across the country. Basically, they're trying to train the youth of today. And I'm going to get to that. Critical race theory is in this. Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, definitely getting to that. But it's just the idea of the irony of how fast they switched, just like that. And the reason why? Because they were in trouble. Panic. Scared. They're like, oh no. We could literally have most of the country turn on us. It's actually really looking good for a good Senate race and a good House race in 2022. And possibly a really good presidential race in 2024. I'm hoping that Trump decides to run. But if he doesn't, I'll take Ted Cruz. I'll take Ron DeSantis. There's a few out there that I would go for. Now, as I said, Ron DeSantis has already said anybody that riots in the state of Florida will be punished harshly. I don't see a problem here. And you can hate me if you want. Doesn't matter. That's why I'm here. I have no problem with being hated by the left. You can't cancel me. There is no media outlet that I work for. YouTube can probably cancel me, but okay. Great. But if you do like what I'm saying and you are watching this video, hit the subscribe button. Give me a like, and please give me a comment. Even if you disagree with something that I'm saying, please give me a comment. I love reading the comments. I like answering them. I will easily answer, and I will try to do that in a nice fashion. We'll see. Depends on your comment. Now, excuse me, I have allergies. Number 3, basically the border is in chaos. Okay, recently it was reported that a farmer in Texas found 5 migrant children, illegal aliens, literally in his field, huddled together in 100-degree heat, just trying to get into the United States. Okay, there are thousands of kids right now being held in close quarters. Now, I understand that the vaccines have gone out in the United States, and believe it or not, most of the country is getting vaccinated. Which makes me think to myself, if you've already been vaccinated, okay, and you're wondering in the back of your mind, how do you know? That's what the left came out with today. How do you know, CNN? How do you know who's been vaccinated and who hasn't? It should not matter. You've been vaccinated. Doesn't matter. If I've been vaccinated and I have COVID, and you have been or if I haven't been vaccinated and I have COVID, and you have been vaccinated, well, guess what? You're good. Now, I might have some problems, but you're good. That's the way this works. That's the reason why these vaccines were invented. That's the reason why all of this has been put into play. Okay? Now, that being said, all these kids, they're thousands. I mean, literally thousands of children. They're not even really adults. They're children. Okay? And they're all, not 6 feet apart and this and that. And that's the reason why, the COVID thing still kind of applies to immigrants. And the reason why is because we don't know if they've been vaccinated. We have no idea. We don't know what they brought. They could have COVID. They could be spreading it throughout these, I call them detention camps, but you never know. So, therefore, in turn, you kind of sit back and go, okay, how do you tend to deal with this? I mean, I've also heard about other governors in the United States actually basically telling the Biden administration that, you know what, we're not going to be a sanctuary city for your illegal immigrants. So you can either send them home or do something else with them. But you're not bringing them here. Okay? Now, do I agree with this? In a political aspect, yes. In a humanitarian aspect, I don't know. I'm kind of iffy. Because there's so many different ways that can be spun. I mean, you could think of it as like, oh, well, you're being mean, or you're being, you don't have a heart, or something of that nature. These people are coming. First of all, Kamala Harris is supposed to be the one that's actually in charge of the border crisis. She hasn't been on the border yet. It's been months. She still has not been there. But she has no problem with talking about Ecuador or any Central American country that is sending immigrants, and she has no problem with, basically blasting, well, that's why these people are leaving, things of that nature, and she thinks that that is the solution to the problem. We need to help these countries so that way the violence and all the drug cartels and all that stuff stops, so people stop coming to the border. No. That's not how you handle that. Okay, you really think that you're going to fix, say, 3 or 4 different countries' problems, like overnight, and stop people from coming to the border? I would say you're a special kind of stupid. But that's just me. Apparently, that's just me. It's my opinion. My girlfriend always tells me all the time, well, you do share a lot of opinions. You are absolutely right. But I do share mainly facts. The reason for that is for the simple fact that I believe facts don't care about your feelings. It really doesn't matter about your opinion as long as the factual information is present. Now, that being said, what I think is really funny is now the Biden administration has actually come out and said that they are going to restart the construction of the Trump border wall. I'm just going to say that one more time, so that way everybody at home can, factor that in. The Biden administration has recently announced that they are going to restart the border wall construction that was implemented under the Trump administration. You see where this is going? You see the issue here? This is how you know, and I hate to use this word, but shit is really hitting the fan. It's almost baffling how this administration has literally turned on its head that fast. You want to know why? Because they know they're in a lot of shit, and they don't know how to fix it. They're panicking. They're running around like in a room, spinning their heads like The Exorcist. You know what I mean? Like losing their minds, going, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? And this is what happens when you elect a houseplant as president. Now, of course, as I mentioned before, inflation continues to rise, and the left is eating this up. They're literally just sitting there going, oh, well, employment numbers really don't matter. You know what I mean? This is going to be fine. Jen Psaki, I've been watching her. Oh, my God. This woman. Like, I don't know whether to pity her or can't stand her. I really don't know. I don't know which one to go with. Because this woman can literally lie with the best of them, but she knows that part of her job is to lie for the president. So, that being said, like I said, you don't know whether you should just be like, you're an idiot, or you feel bad. Because she took the job, and now she's like, whoo, I have no idea what to do. Okay, basically, her and her circle back techniques and all that nonsense, you know what I mean? She doesn't answer questions very well at all. And if she does answer questions, it's horrible. But, she came on a White House press conference and basically just turned around and said, yeah, we expected some inflation, but, no big deal. No big deal. The American economy is definitely on the boom. It's on the rise, even though employment numbers are literally in the toilet. They expected 1.3 million jobs to be produced in the first year after the pandemic started. And the reason for that is because they expected states to open up. They expected a lot of businesses to restart, things of that nature. Well, the problem with that is that if you have Democratic states that literally are continuously on lockdowns, okay, and then you are paying people unemployment benefits that are well beyond what they would have normally made on unemployment to stay home, well, nobody wants to go to work. Me personally, I had 1 week off throughout the entire pandemic. 1 week. I sat home for 5 days. Oh, and a weekend. I'm sorry, Saturday and Sunday as well. So Monday through Friday, I actually sat home. And that was well into, I think it was in March, when DeSantis basically put a lockdown on the state. And then that lockdown was lifted quick. Because, like I said, he's the greatest governor in the country, and he saw his state was going to economically crumble. Okay? As I said, though, the left is just eating this up. Because what they're doing is the mainstream media on the left is trying to scramble to find a narrative that they can actually fit this to. So therefore, they can actually have basically the American public believe in what they're doing. Okay? None of this is going to work. It's basically all cannon fodder, so to speak. So, that being said, wait until your gas prices rise to $4 to $5 an hour, and your house that you bought for $250,000 last year with a mortgage all of a sudden drops to $90,000 as far as equity. Wait for that. Let's see what happens then. I'm telling you, everything about this administration right now is all lies, and it's not good. And the only reason why I know these things is because I study politics. It's something I enjoy to do. Like I've said on this program many times, I'm a boring person. Sorry. That being said, I do have 3 more topics to get to. I am going to take a short break. I'm going to be right back with more to come. All right, I'm back, everybody. This is Sean Ferrer, the Culturally Woke Republican. I'm a little fired up. Got a lot of stuff, to talk about. Little comedy here. In the meantime, Joe Biden is still fighting with the teleprompter. The house plant comes out of the basement every once in a while. And basically, they put a whole bunch of stuff on the teleprompter. And he basically just tries to muddle through it. And it's very slow. And I don't know. That's basically what it is. I mean, like Ben Shapiro actually said it earlier today, where he turned around and he said, I'm waiting for like Mr. T to come out and be like, I pity the fool that can't deal with the teleprompter. You know what I mean? And that in itself just made me chuckle a little bit. Every once in a while, he comes out with something pretty funny. He's pretty factual, but he does come out with something a little comical every once in a while, and I enjoy it. By the way, I do like to advertise for the Daily Wire, so if you're not a Daily Wire subscriber, I think that you should go there. Go to dailywire.com, and you can actually hit and subscribe to them. It's not very expensive. You can be an insider, just like myself, and it's like $14 a month. You spend more than that on a weekend for pizza. But you can be informed on all of this information. They report on the real news, exactly what's going on. Even if it goes against the right, they have no problem with it. They're also putting a whole lot of extra content. They're getting into cinema. They have a whole bunch of extra shows, things of that nature. I mean, I actually enjoy my subscription. And if you get a year subscription, you get this beautiful tumbler. And all it says on the side of the tumbler is leftist tears. And I love my leftist tears tumbler. I think you will too. So, like I said, just a little shout out to the Daily Wire. Thank you very much for the information. You should subscribe. Anyway, moving on. Like I said, in the meantime, Joe Biden, the man is not with us. Okay, I don't know if he ever was. He's definitely not the man he was 5 years ago, and I'm letting you know right now, by the end of like a 4-year term, if he makes it that far, 1, this country would be so screwed, I don't know if we can recover, and 2, I don't know if he'll recover. I'm really thinking that the man is on the verge of dementia. He basically, anytime he's walking, I'm wondering if he's going to make it. Like, if he's walking to a podium or something like that, I'm like, please, just make it there. Because could you imagine if he fell, broke his neck, and died or something like that, and Kamala Harris became president of the United States? Even the left doesn't want that. That's the sad part. Even her own party doesn't want her to become president because they know how radical she really is. She's a communist. She's a socialist communist. Bottom line, that's the way it is. Okay? Joe Biden tried to, perpetuate during his campaign that he was going to be a more moderate Democrat. He lied. Now all he's doing, and that's the other thing. One of the reasons why the COVID thing had kept getting pushed was because all it did was put fear in the American public. Now, putting fear into the American public, what it does is it makes the American public want to rely on more government, bigger government, okay, which is exactly what Joe Biden and his administration want. Because if they get that, they can push through all of this radical spending, which is the reason why inflation is rising and, you know what I mean? Like, prices of things in this country are gonna, go through the roof. It's a foregone conclusion. This is the way it works. If you don't understand this, study economics. I don't know what else to tell you. I went to Penn State University. I studied economics. This is easy. This is layman stuff. You know what I mean? If I really wanted to get technical with inflation and margins and ratios and things of that nature, that's really not part of my show. But I do know it. Just to throw it out there. Now, on to a little bit of foreign news. And I'm sure you guys have heard this. Israel right now is being bombed by literally thousands of rockets. Now, the impressive thing about this is the idea that Israel has this really cool thing. It's like an Iron Dome system where they have a rocket system that can intercept rockets coming from the Gaza Strip. Okay? Now, the rockets coming from the Gaza Strip are by a terrorist organization of Hamas. Now, I'm not going to claim that I know a lot about that area of the world. I don't. I do know what's been reported, and I do know what I've been told. Now, the problem with Hamas is the idea that not only is he basically, bombing the hell out of Israel, basically for his own terroristic needs, the problem with it is he has no consideration for civilians. Men, women, children have nothing to do with the military or anything of that nature. Most of the time, Hamas's forces actually keep their military bases in hospitals and housing units. That's the reason why Israel has what they call a knock bomb. What they do is they actually give up their element of surprise. And they fire a bomb, say on a building, right? And the bomb does not penetrate the building. What it does is it explodes above it, or right on the roof of it, okay, and shakes the building. That basically gives the civilians a warning stating, okay, guess what? The next one's knocking the building down. They also evade the idea of surprise by calling people in the building, calling people on the phone, calling people, telling them, get out now, we're bombing the building. Okay, apparently Israel has a little bit more consideration for civilian population than Hamas or any other terroristic leader that's dealing weapons with Iran. Now, the Biden administration, of course, picked up their shoes right where they left off with Obama, and now they're trying to make concessions and deals with Iran, which makes no sense to me whatsoever. You had peace in the Middle East, basically for 4 years, under the Trump administration. The reason why is because Trump decided that, he was going to take the complete opposite approach. He wasn't going to try and deal with the terrorist leaders. He wasn't going to try and give aid or anything like that to anybody. What he was going to do is he was going to go to the specific Jewish states in that area, or the specific Palestinian states in that area, and work out peace deals between them. And it worked. Okay? Nobody really wants to die. Or at least, most people, as far as I'm assuming. Okay? I know I don't want to die. Okay? So Hamas, basically, because they keep bombing Israel, this has gone over like the last 5 days. I've been watching it intently. Not because I actually enjoy the idea of watching people die, but because I know that this is something that I think is completely ludicrous, and I think that Israel has every right to defend themselves on any ground that they want to. Okay, well, Israel did something really cool. Okay, and I thought it was very intelligent, and it actually comes from the book of The Art of War. I've actually studied the book of The Art of War. I know it intently, and I use it in my day-to-day practices. What they did was they know that what Hamas has done in the Gaza Strip is they've built kilometers of what they call terror tunnels. Okay, so if Hamas fires at Israel, okay, and mind you, these two have been doing this for 50 years. Okay, Israel fires back. Well, what Hamas's soldiers and terrorist groups, what they do is they go inside the terror tunnels, and they hide out so that way they can't get hit by air coverage from Israel. Okay, well, what Israel did was they lied. They said that they were sending 5,000 troops of ground forces into the Gaza Strip to do pinpoint strikes. Basically what they do is they go house to house and they try to separate the civilians from the terrorists. That's a real sketchy thing. I mean, you're talking about guerrilla tactics all the way. I mean, the United States learned that in Vietnam. You know, but what ended up happening was, because they said that, and they made it public, okay, Hamas and his forces left the terror tunnels. And when they did, Israel sent 160 aircraft to bomb the living hell out of them, taking out several generals and leaders of this terror group. I say, good job, boys. Good job. Smart move. What I think is hilarious is the idea that Hamas actually fell for it. He's supposed to be like between him and generals that are in that organization and everything like that, I mean, these guys are supposed to be like tip top of the iceberg as far as terrorist, organizations are concerned. I mean, this is jihad. Apparently somebody messed up. Apparently intelligence was not on the application because, yeah, that's what happens. Now, I do want to get to my final topic of the day. And it's a topic that I'm actually a little bit concerned about, but not so much in the state of Florida, because the great governor, Ron DeSantis, has actually already signed an executive order stating that this will never be taught under taxpayer dollars in Florida state schools. The term goes critical race theory. I personally, and here's my opinion, okay, I personally am not going to allow my son to be taught in school